Today, there's a show on YouTube that keeps taking all of our news before we can report it. It's called CheckPoint. Man, those CheckPoint guys, they're always in there right before us.
So weird.
Yeah.
I see you got a head start on the news over there.
I did, yeah. I think so bananas are real weird because to me, anyway. Nice. Bananas to me are real weird. It's hard to read. You might have to really hold it.
Yeah, Chet doesn't need that.
Bananas are real weird to me, I think, because it's like I like them just fine, but I would prefer to have them like be in other things. Like I'd rather chop it up and add it to my cereal and pour milk all over it and eat it that way. And it's so like eating a banana on its own. It's like Mitch Hedberg's thing about pancakes, where it's like at the beginning you're all excited, but by the end you're fucking sick of them. And it's kind of the same way with a banana of a certain size. Anyway, it's like I just don't want to eat a whole banana, but you can't eat half a banana and then zip the skin back up and wait till later.
I mean, you can, but I also just think he's maybe doing pancakes wrong.
Are you're saying zippered bananas is what we need? I mean, cutting a banana in half is a thing. That's something that can be done.
Well,
we have the technology.
I slice a banana into many pieces.
Ziploc bags. We have cellophane, tin foil. You put your banana in a tin foil and then add chocolate to it and marshmallows, and then you stick it in the oven. Make a new delicious thing.
Neat. I didn't even think of that. Where am I going to put this?
Not in here.
Compost.
I don't allow food waste in this room.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
That doesn't.
Yeah. Bananas are great if you've got extra bananas, you freeze them. Great, and then you can use them for like smoothies or whatever. Lots of good stuff.
Smoothies are more likely than the whole banana bread thing, because that's just you putting a lot of frozen bananas in your freezer and not getting to it, and then dying to an avalanche of frozen bananas when you go to put in the next batch.
Anyway, hey everybody, welcome to ChillPoint, which today talking about bananas is actually surprisingly relevant. This is the show where we talk about all the video game news that we firstly talked about on CheckPoint, giving you a little bit more background info on the news stories we did on CheckPoint, and then also talking about some of the stories we did not do on CheckPoint. So the first, we should probably get this out of the way. I said last week, there was a lot of talk last week about like, well, we did a lot of stuff on the Epic Apple thing this week, but don't count on us doing like a big, huge, long thing every week because there won't necessarily be like interesting news. We'll probably do like maybe a couple wrap-up things once all the info is out. Turns out that is not the case. Graham is very interested in this is one of those things that is very much like, I didn't even see this particular story as like a story. Like I didn't see anybody reporting on this particular story. So this was Graham sourcing the news himself, even doing like some serious some actual journalism, which is very scary. Looking things up in the IRS database and all sorts of stuff.
Now, first, I want to say it's still a possibility that we only continue to do wrap-up stories because there might not be interesting stuff, or maybe Graham will be so invested that there will be a story every week. But, Paul, I think you did an excellent job managing expectations with the audience, which is very important. Yeah. It's very important to manage that hype because it's way better to have the thing happen when you don't expect it than to not have it happen when you do expect it.
And so the take or the sort of the line on the epic Apple Epic thing this week was talking about this Coalition for App Fairness. Coalition to bash Apple is basically what it is. Like that is like sort of explicitly what it is. Like it's, they don't like on their page. They all of their points are specifically related to the app. I guess it's like app fairness is like it's related to the App Store, as in the Apple App Store on iOS.
Yeah,
Is sort of specifically what they're interested in. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, sure, they have some point. They have some point. Like it's in the reasons why all these companies joined up. In addition to Epic, or Epic was able to get all these companies to join up, or whatever the impetus for this whole thing is yeah, like there's points that can be made about that. I'm sure all these companies would prefer if Apple opened things up a little bit more, or charged less on their took less of a cut on the App Store and all that kind of stuff. But the emails that have come out, especially since these have come out as part of like Epic's discovery process, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is stuff that Epic has submitted. Yeah, particularly damning is the line that Graham mentioned, where it's we want to have people talking about getting rid of the 30% Apple tax, or 30% Apple cut, and in the email it says like this 30% cut, and then we'll put in some other issues. Like it literally says that in the email.
Yeah. We'll find this and we'll figure out the rest of the stuff later. Don't worry.
So in some ways, it's like, yes, there's a bunch of companies that agree that they wish things worked differently. That's not untrue. At the same time, Epic probably did put this together fully for their own strategic reasonings of, we know we're going to go to court and we want to put pressure on this thing and we want to do whatever. So we got to get people on our side.
And I mean, and not
also,
even...
you don't want it to look that way. So just it's like a child who tries to make up a reason for a thing that they really want, but they're like, I really want that cookie. But it's not just for me, also for my brother.
Yes,
the industry wants that cookie is really what's important. The consumer.
And you said probably, where what you meant is almost assuredly. Like it's as demonstrated by the evidence. That their plan the entire time was to do things in this way. I think it's important to remember the history here as well. That when Apple first made the iPhone, the thing was, look, we have this phone and it has its things on it, and isn't that great? We give you a stocks app, you're gonna love this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then as development continued on the phone, you get to their second gen and they get into like their third gen kind of thing. And it's like everyone's like, oh man, I wonder if I could get if I could write a little application to go on there, it'd be really handy. Maybe a better calculator, or maybe a better calendar, or those kind of things. Like, something that kind of extends that. And Apple's position was like, those things sound like great ideas. You should totally write web apps that work in Safari, and we'll let you guys add your website to the that you run all this shit on. We'll let you add that to the Apple homepage, and that way you can just put that thing on there. And everyone's like, "No, we want to run natively on your hardware." And Apple's like, "Oh shit, I don't think that's a good idea."
I remember back in the day, like when the iPhone first came out, Jobs went out there and showed off the iPhone, and talked about we've got a great way for third-party developers to make whatever they want by making these web apps and doing a home screen. And I remember at the time, it was like the most, one of the strongest demonstrations of the Steve Jobs reality distortion field, where while you were in that, while you were in that theater,
like, oh great!
People are like, yeah, this is great. And then as they're walking away, they're like, wait, no, that's not good.
Yeah, what if I didn't? What if I actually want to have access to the hardware
Yeah,
and actually
that's
make applications for it?
that's not a
And
good solution.
and the standing thing is that most phone providers did not have ways for you to make shit to put on the phone. Like Nokia, like the when you're playing Snake on your phone, you didn't have a lot of ways to be able to easily develop and distribute and install apps in that way
Well,
on like your shitty candy bar phones,
I
right?
mean, back in the day, people forget. Back in the day, it was even worse than that. It was worse than, Nokia has to make the app itself,
Yeah.
because it wasn't even Nokia that makes the app. It's like your apps are controlled by, like, Rogers or TELUS. Like, your apps are actually controlled by not the company that makes the phone, the company that you have your cell phone access with,
Yeah.
which is like even worse.
Sorry.
I mean, that's all like back in the day, though. Like things change over time. Things should getting better. Like, my understanding is when a 30% cut happened. Yeah.
Okay, well, that was going to be my larger point. Is that the when this all happened, this was like this is the way things are going to be, and every phone manufacturer is working the exact same way. And enough people, the developers, were saying, no, we really want to be able to do this natively. We want to be able to do this natively, and so thus began the slow march over time of adding those features and abilities and whatnot. It was like we're gonna let you program apps, and you're gonna have to do them through Xcode and with the developer account, with all these kind of things, because a lot of this has to do with you're making this device, which is a phone, and in order to run on phone networks, it had to be very secured as a thing. And the de rigueur was, well, we make it secure by not letting anybody be able to put other things onto it. But then they did, and Apple's position was that if we're gonna allow people to put applications on our phone, we're gonna have to sandbox it off really heavily. We're gonna have to be able to control how all that works, and now we're also gonna have to be sure that whatever people are installing on the phones, they can't just install whatever they want, because that could put the cellular network at risk. So we have to have a means to control that access. Well, wait, what if we actually made us the only way to get stuff onto the phones in the first place? And if we do that, then we should be taking a cut, because you know 1,000 apps are going to show up, but we have to pay people to be able to like review this stuff. So it's like the cut was there because it was meant to manage the complexity and to pay for the people of what's going on to the thing in the first place.
Yes, and as I was trying to say before,
I was trying to get that out in the first place.
You paused.
I didn't pause. Paul
Sentence.
responded, and then I was trying to get back and continue.
Okay, fine, whatever. That was then. This is now. Is 30% still a good cut to take? That's the real question here. See, I have a problem when when like that co-op whatever says 30% tax.
Yeah.
And people do this with switch tax and whatever. And the reason people use the word tax is because people hate taxes.
Yeah.
But that's not what it is. It's not a tax.
Right.
It's a cut.
And
if it was 12%, you wouldn't be, and people weren't angry about it, they wouldn't call it a 12% tax.
And especially, I mean, us here in Canada and in BC, and lots of other places, of course, but you're very familiar with sales tax, which is, structured differently. And if you look at, like, they have this point where it's like, get rid of the 30% the app tax is, higher than any transaction fee. And if you look at that page, what they're in the context, again, we talked about this last week, but how you sort of structure your argument, what context you're putting it in, makes a lot of difference. And the context they're putting it in is credit card transaction fees, right? So they're like, as if Apple is basically just acting as a credit card transaction person and charging 30% instead of 5% or whatever Visa charges, right?
Yeah.
As if that's sort of the only service that is being provided for that 30%. But and I believe Epic themselves submitted stuff where it says other app stores on Switch or Xbox or PlayStation, Steam also have 30% in most cases. I mean, Steam, it's very depending on how much you sell, different things like that. But 30%, I mean, was pretty good, or is relatively standard as in the industry. And to use the idea that Epic's charging less than 30, they're charging 12 or 15 or whatever. To use that and being like, look at how much better we are, when we have also found out from this thing that they're losing money hand over fist on the Epic Store, right? It's kind of disingenuous for them to be like, look at how good the cut we're doing is. All you have to do is not make any money on the store.
Yeah.
So like maybe 12% isn't actually a sustainable amount to take.
Like part of the reason why they're losing so much money is they've been giving out free games.
The free games.
And my understanding is there's documents that even back that up, where it's stuff like they gave out Celeste for free at one point, and their conversion rate, because the whole point of doing that is to get more people onto your platform who will then hopefully buy other things.
Yeah.
Right.
And my understanding is for stuff like Celeste, the conversion of how much they basically ended up paying per user who joined was something like $12 or $14, which is not a lot.
Yeah.
And that, or rather, is actually quite a bit for what you're trying to go for your thing. And then the percentage of people who end up buying games on Epic from those conversions is actually very little.
Yeah.
Overall.
I mean,
they're getting people who show up for the free game who are like, cool.
Hands up everyone who has joined the Epic Store and has only ever purchased free games.
Yeah.
I still haven't downloaded it, and it has less to do with like Epic being a thing and more to do with I don't want another store on my computer. I barely use Steam as it is. I'm a console gamer. I don't want to download another storefront.
Yep,
but yeah,
it is.
It's they're losing money by trying to make whatever for a long-term gain, and
these loss leaders of put your free games on here, charge very little, publicize the fact that your cut from the developers is very small. Try to engender. I mean, of course, if you're trying to break into a market, you got to do whatever you can to fight in that space to pull eyes towards you.
Yeah, I mean, if I wouldn't doubt that if they managed to kill off Steam or GOG or any of the other places, probably Steam, I think, is more their target than GOG at this point. But if they did, I don't know. I don't imagine they intend to get much better. Yeah,
but there's still definitely like the largest problem that in this whole fight is that it's very clear that Epic was acting disingenuously into entering into a contract that they had full knowledge of how the contract works, and but in order to have standing in that fight, because they're like, we want to have a fight and we need to have standing, so I need to get involved, and we need to get involved and do this, and then we need to decide we need to do that, and it's like, sure, but it's strange, right? Because it's like you can take that tactic of no one is forcing you to do any of this. No one is forcing you to put your stuff on the Apple App Store. Apple didn't come running after you to say, we want you to put your stuff on our App Store. Like, none of these things are happening.
I mean, and maybe they did, but yeah.
Maybe they did, right? But doesn't really... They would be showing evidence of that, I think, by now, and the only evidence they've been showing off doesn't seem to be leading towards that kind of idea.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see if this is still going, but yeah, so far I feel like this process has not worked in Epic's favor. Not only from a sort of PR standpoint, but just I don't think they were somehow they didn't seem to realize that they would have to release all this information was going to have to be sort of made public. which seems
I-
odd,
I-
but
I feel like it does seem like they should have been better prepared for their own trials, because it does feel like they are constantly being the ones being made fun of for not realizing certain things, or the third parties having redacted things, and a lot of stuff like that. But at the same time, given the last 4 to 5 years of how we've constantly laughed at things that shouldn't have happened and then they still did, who knows?
Mhm.
I don't think this is a thing where we're gonna be like, well, Epic probably not doing so hot, and like they could be doing perfectly fine for all I know.
all right. Well, I think that's sufficient talking about the Epic Apple thing. More info will come out over time, but
More things we can laugh at later.
Yeah.
Videos.
if you haven't checked it out already, obviously Graham's deep dive into this one particular aspect with the Coalition of App Fairness, I think, is quite illuminating as to their strategy. Minecraft / How to Train Your Dragon.
Yes.
I like the thrust of this story is that I guess Beach didn't know how popular How to Train Your Dragon is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we've watched all 3 movies together.
Yeah. I literally, the twist for me was like, so Fortnite is getting all sorts of shit from like Marvel and DC and like all these properties that are constantly in the forefront of whatever. Everybody is being dragged into Fortnite from all these different locations, being and shoved through the fucking meat grinder to come out the other side. And what did Minecraft do? They went after How to Train Your Dragon. Out of all sorts of properties, it's like, this is the one they were able to get.
Does Minecraft get a lot of DLC like this?
Not really.
No, they've had a few. Like they've been getting more. Like obviously in the past little while since Microsoft bought them, and they've been getting more into that.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
I just would have expected this for Minecraft Dungeons more than Minecraft.
Yeah, it was kind of an interesting, like, I was like, why this product, like, it's not the hot happening thing. It's still happening.
I mean,
clearly.
Dragons are kind of a Minecraft thing. Like there's the Ender Dragon is like the big dragon thing. So that sort of ties in a little bit, and I guess, but it's it's interesting. But I mean, it's always this. I'm a fan of How to Train Your Dragon verse, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I think it qualifies as a verse at this point, considering how many properties there are within that realm. There's the 3 movies, there's various video games, there's a bunch of TV shows and specials, and Netflix got a hold of them 3 or 4 years ago and has been churning out a lot of. There's like 6 or 7 seasons of the various TV shows.
You can tell which things like is doing heavy work with Netflix if you go, and the moment they start having Christmas specials that are strictly for Netflix, it's like, I see you've invested.
I always love the like, let's figure out what Christmas is in this world.
Yeah.
It's Winter Dragon Festival.
Yeah, how is it in a world filled with Vikings? How do they celebrate Christmas? So, something about Thor and Odin, I'm sure, shows up. But the what's from it, I think it's DreamWorks actually that just has, like, it seems like a blanket deal with Netflix, because DreamWorks, like the Arcadia series, which I believe culminates in like 3 different styles, like a fantasy and a sci-fi. There's like all these. There's a lot of different DreamWorks shows. She-Ra was a DreamWorks production.
Yep.
There's a lot of these different shows where it's like these are exclusive to Netflix only. So I imagine it's probably just a blanket deal that Netflix and DreamWorks put together to be like,
oh yeah,
let's start working together on a lot of stuff, and then started putting stuff
what was
down.
that movie we watched about the trolls who go on that van trip?
Onward.
Onward.
Pixar.
That's just a straight up Pixar movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always think of it as DreamWorks for some reason.
It doesn't.
It was kind of an
It
oddball.
has a Megamind feel to it.
It was
Yeah.
kind of an oddball as a Pixar movie.
Yeah,
Uh,
agreed.
I just one of my I mentioned this to Beach yesterday, but one of my favorite things about How to Train Your Dragon is that it's been incredibly successful for Jay Burchell,
Yeah,
who's a wonderful Canadian actor who, to be honest, is kind of he usually gets typecast into like the kind of the friend, the dork, whatever, and then he whatever 10 years ago, he got this part in this like random movie. And that's like he does the voice. He's one of the people like he did the voice for the movie, but he does the voices for all the TV shows and everything as
Yeah.
well. It's not like they swap
'Cause-
in somebody else.
that's the strength about being a Canadian actor, right? Is it's like when work comes along, you're like, are you kidding me? I'm part of a franchise. Of course I'm going to do the TV shows. Of course I'm going to do the video games. I'm going to do all that goddamn work.
So yeah, I'm happy to see him so successful.
Yeah. Canadian voice actors are a goddamn treat, by the way. They are very nice people.
Okay,
Always willing
just
to do their
because you've
stuff.
met like half of them from Ocean Group
I
doesn't
have.
mean
They're
that-
super nice dudes.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean we probably don't have one who's a low-key dick somewhere.
Probably.
And then now the last story here is one that Beej wrote,
This
and
isn't a story.
I believe he when he wrote this and then posted in our in the Slack, being like, this is kind of just a kind of a stream of consciousness is really what I was working with.
This is a minefield.
Yeah.
This is I believe the joke about Beej being on recovering from the AstraZeneca vaccine is entirely true. So the way it goes from modding the banana and Resident Evil, and then we've got the new exotic pistol in Destiny 2, calculator app, and
Don't forget the crossplay thing in Destiny 2. That was also
the
a thing.
crossplay thing.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, so it's kind of like the Destiny
Cryothesia?
cryothesia gun. Apparently, it's a big deal in the world of Destiny because it's a ice-based gun that fits into a different slot than elemental-based weapons normally do.
It's the first kinetic-based weapon that shoots elementals in Destiny 2. That thing it used to happen in the original Destiny, and they haven't done it at all in Destiny 2. And now this is the first time it's going to happen. So people are like, "Oh my god, I get elemental damage with a kinetic weapon. That's rad!" Okay.
And so I marked that like I don't play Destiny 2, but I marked that story because obviously Graham plays a lot of Destiny, and I thought that that might. It seemed like a significant thing in Destiny, so I thought that he might have a take on it. Turns out he didn't need it, but
Well, I mean, there was just like technically we did two stories and a roundup this week.
yeah.
Which is like kind of unusual, but that one story Graham did was like 6 stories long, so
And then there's this thing where I think I made a note on this on the Destiny crossplay thing. Like this has got to be at least the third time this has happened, where crossplay has like accidentally been pushed out to a game. Which is weird. Like it's weird how games.
If I had a nickel every time, it'd be weird that it happened twice.
Like, it's weird how because of how games are made these days, and how the Xbox and the PlayStation and desktop systems are a lot closer in capabilities and technology than they used to be. And so, back in the day, the idea of crossplay would be like a big deal, or it'd be a lot of engineering work to put in. But these days, apparently, it's basically just like a checkbox that somebody has to push, and sometimes they do it by mistake. Like it's not that big a deal.
You're being reductive for a funny reason. Let's be fair. It's not literally just, oh, the game engine has a checkbox. I just checked that and look, it all turned on. It's like, no, that's not like that. But
this was a thing they were planning on doing.
Yeah, it was literally ready.
It was set live at the wrong time.
Yeah,
but they were planning on doing
that happens.
They're planning on doing it in like fall.
Yeah.
So it was going to be like a while before they put it on. But then I like the thing where it's like we put it on. We made a mistake. It wasn't supposed to be on yet. We're going to push out an update next week that'll turn it off. But in the meantime, beta test it for us, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't take the game down for a week because we made this error. So I guess we have to leave it up.
Like, well, okay. I mean, if you want to be like sarcastic about it, maybe they did it on purpose for free beta testing. But doesn't stuff usually get done on a test server? So this would have gotten.
You would think that people would notice, yeah.
So, so I the little that I was doing when I was pushing, like when I was doing development, and you push something to development and then you test it out, and then you push it to a test server to be like, this is our production version now. We know that we've locked development at a certain point, and we're going to push that to our testing server to ensure that everything's going to happen properly and open that up to people to test. And then we're going to take whatever we put in testing and push that to production. Yeah, that's generally the case of how you do those things, is that it's like you freeze one branch, you push to testing, and then when testing proves out to be good, and when it goes to production, hopefully everyone has caught everything that's going on. So either there's a piece of their testing bit that's lost there, or they might do chaining stuff off of development, and they're maybe just like when they have to recompile a piece to go to production, they might actually have to recompile whatever it is they're doing, and part of that might be specifying that yes, crossplay, no crossplay. Like there might be like switches they have to do in part of the production, in part of the compilation process.
Well,
that's a guess, right?
And
sure.
You think about the testing process. You don't test for things like testing for something that isn't there.
Yeah.
Right. It's like,
is crossplay like, still off? You know,
but it's like if crossplay isn't on, then you wouldn't. It's like, why would you test it? How the PC version and the PlayStation version interact with each other when they're not supposed to interact with each other at all. Like you wouldn't even really think about that to test unless that was something that is being worked on. Anyway.
Yeah. And when you're in a position like this where it's like I've pushed something out, it might be something that is something that's very client dependent, or that where it's like, can we force everyone to turn off, like can we force it to turn it off on the servers? Will that cause a problem? It's like, well, if you turn it off on the servers, then every client that's trying to talk to each other to connect, they might not be able to connect properly because they might be trying to connect to way more than what's there, right. And then the connections might fail altogether.
Before we got into a very complicated guessing or possibly actually knowing of how these things work, my thing was if it's on a test server, and like that would be how you accidentally set something like that live, right? Like you're testing it and maybe you don't take it off. I don't know. Yeah. I don't work in these places. I just know a very skin layer deep of some things. So like the rest of us on this panel.
What's interesting to speculate here? What's interesting is in 2017, and we actually did a story about this on CheckPoint. In 2017, one of the first instances of this is Fortnite went PlayStation, Xbox One crossplay accidentally. At the time, and even now, Sony is like super cagey about crossplay. They don't really like it happening.
They don't want people to do it.
Yeah, they haven't been very open to crossplay. Whereas, obviously, Xbox and Windows, Microsoft is pushing it really hard. And when it's a possible Nintendo crossplay is usually not too bad, but Sony has been kind of reticent about it. With all the stuff that we're learning now about the Epic Apple thing, the idea that they accidentally turned on crossplay to put pressure on Sony to allow them to do it for real is kind of interesting. It
Yeah.
seems like the kind of thing they might have done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely the timing of this is definitely
Well-
interesting, given the fact that we found out that Sony's whole thing about talking about crossplay's not really a thing for us because technical limitations. The final is like, we just don't like the idea of it.
No,
It's
they
like,
don't. They don't want people playing on other ecosystems,
Yeah.
playing with their ecosystem
Sure.
of
Yeah.
players. They want people to come to their system, but like that time period too is also about when we had the Microsoft Nintendo commercials that were just like, we are best friends and we do
Yeah.
crossplay. Those were fun.
Yeah.
Those were good times.
And then calculator for Switch, which definitely looks like the old iOS calculator,
Doesn't it?
and costs what is it, £9? So that's like
It was 807.
£8.
£8, 7 shillings and sixpence.
So it's like $15 or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That
think
seems
this
expensive.
is really.
It probably only would have been $1.99, but Nintendo tax, gotta take that 30%. Oh, it's fucking terrible.
Oh,
what a
goodness.
goddamn
$10.
Can
catastrophe.
we put that character away? I don't like him.
Yeah.
The thing I find funny about this is it's like the Switch has been out for like it's going into its 5th year, and someone was like, it's missing a calculator.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I remember when the DSi started and it had a Mario clock
Yes.
and a calculator and like some notebook applications and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I think Nintendo was trying for a thing. And then they went, we're not doing that again. And someone else was like, oh, there's a missing hole in this market.
Mhm.
Let me get on that.
Are there? Does the Switch have any kind of like ecosystem of non-game apps?
Does it have Netflix?
Does it
No.
have apps?
It does not have Netflix. It doesn't really, as far as I know, it doesn't really have
Productivity apps.
productivity apps.
Yeah.
The DSi did, the 3DS kind of, because they kept the DSi stuff
Yeah.
Oh, there's-
it
as
has like
well.
when
but-
you turn it on, there is a clock that it runs in the upper corner. So there you go. It does not have a stock ticker. It does not have a
there's
calendar
I like-
or a
there-
note-taking
there's-
app.
I
there's
like
a
it's a
rhythm
productivity
game you can
device.
get.
There's a clock.
That's about a clock. We played it on Rhythm Cafe for like half an hour or something. It was very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
The funniest thing I had happen out of this, out of seeing that the Switch gets a calculator app show up, was a tweet that I saw a couple of days later after the calculator app came on, where someone was like, and here's the gameplay footage, because there are people who do just straight gameplay footage for like a bunch of stuff where you see them turn it on and press all the buttons on the menus before they go into the game and do anything. And I'm like, yeah, I guess someone had to do the calculator one too. Weird.
Yeah. What's your start to typing out 80085?
No, it's 8008135. Or would that be backwards?
See, that's the thing. There's
That's
there's
backwards.
Backwards.
multiple categories.
Yeah. 5318008.
Yeah,
Because then you turn it upside down.
It's honestly been a long time since I've had to play with a calculator.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the coming up with Pokemon Company in getting pro football players to open packs while doing kick-ups, just to
Have something to do, I guess.
just to have something
Now,
to
by
do.
football, we mean actual football,
Yes.
not American football.
Yeah.
For those of you who are in Canada and the US and the other places that call it football,
Soccer.
Doing
but it
it-
would be soccer.
Yeah, doing kick-ups or like ball juggling with a American football ball would be tough.
Very challenging.
Yeah, and I kind of want to see that.
What's interesting too is that when I saw the logo fly by, because I just saw the thing and I was like, F it, I'm just gonna write my tag for the story. I'm not even gonna really bother watching the video. And what I saw was the Pokemon futsal logo, and I'm like, oh, hang on a second, is this is this proper football as played in a stadium open to the elements, or is this futsal, which is indoor football, right? Which is different in a way.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
And I'm like, oh, this could have been futsal, and I don't know anything about whether that's correct or not. But yeah, they were doing kickups with a Pokeball shaped Pokeball colored soccer ball.
It was shaped is everything that is round is a Pokeball shaped ball.
Yes.
But it was colored like one. Yes.
It was branded.
It looked like one.
Yeah. So they were doing the kickups, and then they were basically, the idea was they had to like open packs and then pull out a card and hold it up to the camera, which was, of course, was doing this shit. But there was like, so they could show off what the card was. And and the dudes are like, the guy who did the best managed 91 kickups while opening 12 cards. And I was like, that doesn't seem very high.
Yeah,
but if we did it,
their pack cracking is, I mean, sure, their actual, football technique is good, but their packing or pack cracking technique sorely lacking.
Yeah, well, we've all seen Graham crack packs, right? I'm sure he wouldn't get anything opened.
Well, Graham was saying that if he just like, he would just like, if you could just kick the ball away and then open the pack, that would be, it's like you got one kick, one
and one.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much is in a booster pack anyway? 15 cards?
Magic, it's 15 cards. I don't know if
I don't know about Pokemon. Chat, how many cards are in Pokemon pack?
So what you're saying is that if we do it ourselves, we get one kick up, but 15 cards, which beats the football player.
Can I have it instead of just having a soccer ball or a football that's like standard issue?
Okay.
Can I have one of those ones you see in the in like the balls where it's attached to a thread thing that you kick so that it always comes back to me?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll probably still only do one and then try to duck and cover from the thing that's coming back at me constantly, but
have like a ball on like a rubber like surgical tubing
on a harness.
Chad is saying 10 cards, which means that person made it to a second pack.
Yes. Graham could probably make it to a second pack too. Kick the ball, open a pack, open another pack.
I remember there was one time I was actually playing in a Magic tournament at Yellow Jacket, and it was one of these things where you like open a pack and add a pack between every match. And there was something like 10 minutes between matches or something. Like it was pretty quick. And I took all 10 minutes between the match just to open my pack. Like I could not for the life of me get this stupid pack open. I was just like, why won't you open? And I was just like, oh, cards. Okay, this is good. Put it in. Go.
This is the best thing I've got. So whatever. Who cares about interactions?
And then in stories, other stories that we didn't talk about, but also about Pokemon. And this has now come out, I would imagine. Katy Perry's new song, Electric, is out now. I guess. So it's her like Katy Perry X Pokemon jam. What I liked about what I liked is the teaser song, which I think I can play for you here. Or Beej and Heather, I don't think heard that, but
that's
okay.
It's just
I have the internet. I can look it up.
Her saying electric.
Oh, okay.
But
it was real short. I was like, you tease your song. I'm like, oh, maybe like 15 seconds. No.
So yeah, I don't know. I haven't listened to the real song, but that was we talked about that Katy Perry is doing this promotion thing. Although we made fun of her because they were like, "Hey, what's your favorite Pokemon?" She said Pikachu, which is like,
very basic.
I mean,
God.
She is doing a song, I guess, about Pikachu. So I guess that tracks, but still.
Yeah, you're gonna want that. And to be honest, I feel like if you're getting paid by the Pokemon company, they're gonna ask you to say the Pokemon that they constantly push forward.
If she said like Doraemon, then I'd be worried. But I mean, if she should have said Fat Pikachu. She should have said fat Pikachu.
Or classic Pikachu.
Right? If she'd been like, "What's your favorite? Like, what's your favorite Pokemon?" She's like, "Fat Pikachu," and then that would be like, okay, she knows what she's doing. She knows what she's talking about. She still likes Pikachu, but she
Pikachu,
remembers
like
the existence of
Gen 1
fat Pikachu.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
classic Pikachu.
Classic Pikachu.
Please. He's not that fat. And even if he was, I feel like we're body shaming an old
Yeah.
Pikachu, and that seems mean.
Yeah, don't body shame Pikachu. Build-A-Bear is getting marginally more interesting in their Animal Crossing.
Oh no.
Modern day Pikachu, right? Very thin, very svelte.
Okay,
Yes.
everybody knows
Fat Pikachu.
No.
Okay, what?
that one.
So-
Okay, that is clearly
So
That's
fat.
that's not what Pikachu used to look
that
like.
is clearly a knockoff.
Yep. Pretty sure. Weirdly,
Does it
has
say?
the Ben Presto
Says Ben
tag
Presto,
on it.
but it doesn't have Pokemon Company.
No, it does. It actually has the
That's like-
Pokemon tag on it.
Huh,
That's
weird.
like the Pikachu equivalent of that
rid of it.
like Iron Man that
Oh, he doesn't squeak anymore.
that James has.
We're trying to move on to the next story.
No, I
Sir.
had props.
All right. Well,
should have gotten
speaking
them ready
of
beforehand.
fat stuffed animals, Build-A-Bears is
I'll be right back.
getting marginally
No.
more interesting in their Animal Crossing thing because they're adding winter outfits to at least to Nook and
Isabel.
Isabel. So that's cool, I guess. And
I'm surprised those aren't just like separate outfits you could get.
yeah, they're actually like a different model.
Yeah, that's odd, but still,
I
neat.
mean-
I do like that they have different outfits in Animal Crossing in the winter and summertime.
Considering they sold out like right away before, if you're interested in getting them, then you can have they'll have more stock of the winter outfits, I guess. So that's good.
Yeah,
It's
I think
weird
Nintendo
timing
has
that they did the summer outfits in the winter. Anyway,
That's usually how fashion works, though, right? Like,
yeah, you do your fashion. Well, that's how fashion gets sold.
yeah.
wait, what?
You
They usually sell
when you're
winter
you
outfits in
sell
the summer.
you sell winter outfits closer to like the middle of like fall.
And not that you're selling it to consumers. It's when buyers
Yeah,
when,
buyers would
so-
will buy the
So
season.
you show your winter collection usually in the summer, because then fashion buyers will come see the collection and be like, that'll be good for this next winter. Then they'll buy stuff. Then they have to start manufacturing it, and then it's ready by the time.
And the fashion shows have to happen, and then the people who work for smaller retail chains have to go to them and then steal their ideas to make their own stuff that's knockoffs.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that these Tom Nook and Isabella Build-A-Bears are actually targeted towards the haute couture fashion industry as opposed
Absolutely.
to the consumer
Well-
level.
That or Australians, because I think it's winter where they are.
These aren't exactly quarter size, though, are they? The outfits are probably not quarter size. They're probably even smaller than that.
To scale?
Yeah.
I doubt they're scaled.
I'd like to see an Isabelle Croquis.
No.
She'd be all just
No.
fucking taffy.
Oh goodness, no, they make them like 9 heads tall and it's so disturbing.
So, Paul, do you want a little background of what
No.
I'm talking about?
No! Move forward, let people wonder for themselves. Keep the mystery. As I was saying, I think Nintendo, at least in the North American market, is doing a thing right now on the Build-A-Bear stuff where if you spend some of your platinum points, you can get entered into a contest to win them.
Yeah.
So you guys
that's
try your
nice.
luck there,
Yeah.
I guess, if that's still happening.
Is it a contest to win one or a contest to like be eligible to buy one?
I think it's to win them.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Because, yeah, I mean, shit,
Oh,
Paul, that's a
goodness.
fair question. Given what happened with the Mario pins, yeah, I'm...
Speaking of contests to buy, Sony has said that due to now this is a real thing that is kind of interesting. Is that there's been everyone's mad about like graphics cards being like almost impossible to get right now, partially because of Bitcoin or not Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency mining. But also because there is a worldwide shortage right now of microchips for a variety of reasons. Most of them to do with like COVID stuff, and that's hitting a lot of industries because it turns out that almost every industry uses microchips now. Cars apparently are being particularly badly hit by it because all the car manufacturers possibly reasonably assumed that over the next, over 2020, 2021, people's car usage would be going down because of COVID. And so they put in less orders for chip manufacturing. That did not actually happen as much as they were thinking. People are still trying to buy tons of cars. And now that order space has been taken up by other things, and also supplies are just really constrained because the manufacturing of this kind of stuff has a lot of lead time. So anyway, because of that, Sony is saying that even ramping up their current production of PS5s, supplies are going to be severely constrained into 2022, according to their models.
I wouldn't find that surprising at all to be the case, given the way things are going.
Because we know, I mean, we've even, I think, in previous weeks heard that Nintendo also adjusted expectations to say that Switch manufacturing will probably be down somewhat, given the chip shortage.
Did they?
I think it was a couple weeks ago.
I've definitely heard
there was a story about it.
armchair analysts saying that about Nintendo for a lot, but Nintendo just had its financial meeting and they
didn't bring
rocking it on sales and stuff.
I thought I read somebody's thing where they had said that during the call or whatever it was that they've been like, yeah, we're adjusting expectations that chip shortages may make it difficult to make as many Switches as we have in the past. So it's not like they're not going to be able to make any, which is I'm sure the same case with the PS5. It's not like they're not going to be able to make any. It might just be that they're not able to make all the ones that they were hoping to make.
I wish there was some way I could help, but I don't know. I would love to help with people with these, people not able to get the PS5s they want, but there's just nothing I can think of. And I've been just too busy playing on my 5 PS5s.
I occasionally have seen somebody comment on that video saying, I don't think I'm going to win, and it feels like they legitimately wrote the thing to enter the contest that has been over forever, and I have been very good about not responding with, you're right, you won't.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I don't want to make it a thing, and I don't want, no, none of you should either. I will delete those.
Mm-hmm.
And possibly ban you for it.
Yes, it is not within you to be shitty on the comments.
I don't like to be shitty on comments, at least not under the company name.
To all our fans, please be as kind as you can in the comments.
Oh, the other people aren't allowed to be shitty in the comments at all.
It's easier if you guys are kind in the comments, because if there are people who come into the comments and are being shitty, that means it's a lot easier for Heather to just straight up shadow ban them.
Yeah, there's that too.
That is a very good point. Is if somebody is saying something dumb in the comments, don't
let them.
And you respond. And if someone is saying something insulting or whatever, and you respond, defending us, much as we appreciate it, don't be surprised if your defense comment also gets deleted.
Yeah.
Because then otherwise you have like a bunch of deleted comments, a bunch of people defending or protesting against something that is no longer there, and that looks dumb. So
yeah, I have two thoughts when it comes to someone being an idiot on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
If it's funny enough, they get to keep their comment there so that everyone can see how much of an idiot they are.
There is that, isn't there?
And if they're really awful and mean, it gets to go away, and they get to also go away.
Those are two very weird boxes to fit into, too,
those
right?
Those are my two boxes of comments.
But yeah, the worst thing is when you I'm glad this does not happen on Loading Bay Run videos. But when you go to like some other videos and every single person in the comments is talking about how toxic the comments are, but there are no actual toxic comments because those have all been removed. And so it just is like this weird, like, no, it's like now the comments are still useless, but it's just like all this noise. Anyway.
Yeah.
Unrelated to
That
what
was
we're
a
talking
tangent. What are we on now?
Oh yeah, so Hitman 3 is a game that is out currently.
Oh,
and
It's the
Yes.
evolution from Hitmonchan. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Hitman Top,
Trio.
right?
Yeah, Hitmon 3.
It's just 3 bald head guys coming up from the ground. So Hitman 3 is in a similar vein to the previous Hitman or previous sort of new style Hitman games. Is they've got a lot of sort of episodic type content where they add new things as they go, and people are kind of into that. And so they started doing this thing. They started a 7 Deadly Sins thing. Where they're going to where the idea is that they're going to release 7 DLC packs, concentrating on each of the deadly sins.
When the title says Pride DLC, it doesn't mean the kind of pride I think of then.
So this is the problem. The DLC that is live now, that went live on the 10th, is the one for the pride of, or the sin of pride.
Right.
Unfortunately, with the timing, it is going to be continually that's the one that's going to be for the rest of this month and like halfway through actual Pride Month. Come on, guys.
No.
Couldn't you have reorganized that a little bit?
Yeah.
Seriously.
I mean, I do think it's funny that a lot of LGBT people will talk about LGBT pride and then lead right into things like LGBT sloth and LGBT gluttony. I do like that there's enough of a sense of humor among the community where people are like, oh, well, don't forget that the month after Pride Month is Sloth Month.
I read the headline and I was like, oh, cool. So what, he's going to get a cool rainbow suit or something? That sounds really awesome.
He's going to kill a bunch of turfs and stuff.
That would be super neat. I would love for them to do a rainbow sniper rifle or something. I don't know what they would do.
Yeah.
There's some really cool things.
You could do all sorts of cool things. But
change the barcode on the back of his neck to be rainbow colored.
I feel like it would have to be outside the even if for this expansion they made it all rainbow, it's still within the context of this 7 Deadly Sins thing, which is not that's not the pride part that you want associated with.
No, it's not.
The sins don't have any particular order. You could have easily reorganized those.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyway. What is the sloth one going to be? How do you kill someone? Kill someone with sloth.
At the same time, if it said Hitman 3 Sloth DLC, my brain would have been like, wait, where'd all the sloths come in? Where they hang around everywhere? Do you get to be a sloth, a very slow moving hitman?
Yeah.
I'd be up for this.
You assassinate
I'd
sloths?
A sloth game. Oh no, I don't want to assassinate sloths. I want to be a sloth. I want a hitman. I get to be a sloth crawling around on the ground with my large claws. There's a big gun.
Hold up your briefcase.
You don't have to kill people with a gun in Hitman.
Throw it.
That's true. You can do you can do it in lots of different ways.
I could be the sloth that slowly pushes someone off the cliff. So stay right there. I'm coming.
I mean, if you're a sloth, people are like, "Oh, that sloth's coming towards me. Awesome!" Nobody ever's like, "Oh my god, that sloth's coming towards us!"
If you're sloth and you're slowly pushing someone off the cliff, eventually the momentum of gravity will help you.
Yeah.
I feel like I've put too much thought into this.
That was another Mitch Hedberg joke I just did.
It'd be, the sloth. I feel like you would get away with a lot just from the unexpectedness. If you see a dead body and a sloth sitting beside it, your first thought would not be, "Oh my god, the sloth has killed this guy."
Right? Yeah.
And that's how they get you.
That's really the only point about this, is that it just happens to coincide. There's nothing unusual about the Sin of Pride DLC. It's just that it coincides with the Pride Month.
It's got a bunch of, there's a bunch of new levels and some cool new weapons and that kind of stuff. But it's just unfortunate timing is the main stuff.
What isn't unfortunate timing is if you want to celebrate Pride Month in your own special loading ready run way, we have a shirt you can buy.
It's not related to Pride Month.
It's not related to Pride Month at all.
Always.
It's just our Lure Pride shirt. It's in the store, and we hope that you like it.
There's that. Yeah.
And then the last story I have here is The Witcher 3 is going to get a fancy re-release for PS5 and Xbox Series X.
Okay.
With better, fancier graphics and all this stuff. And what's interesting about this is that like a lot of PC games, especially older PC games in the sort of open world area, there are a bunch of plugins or what do you call it? Mods that fans have made to give it better graphics. So like on PC, you could download this like fan made pack that puts in whole new graphics, a whole new textures and everything, and makes everything look super fancy. You can get a lot of the for like a lot of the like Oblivion, like in Skyrim, those kind of games have these as well that fans have made to make them, make some of these games really look amazing, even if they're running on an older engine stuff. But so when they are bringing out this CD Projekt Red is bringing out this new version. Apparently, the high resolution textures and stuff are actually just taken, like they actually got they
went after the mods and said we're just going to use those.
They're using texture. It's not like they stole them. This is an official thing.
Right.
And it was announced by the maker of the mod. The Witcher 3 HD rework project, which is a mod that has been around for quite a few years and has been updated many times. Apparently he's been in contact with the CD Projekt Red people, and at least some of, maybe not all of it, but some of the updated graphics for this new version of Witcher will be actually like the stuff from this mod. So that's pretty cool that the resolution is that good.
So this brings to mind two things for me, and one is I hope that this person gets paid for their effort, like for the effort of, and whether they did all the work themselves or whether they were collaborating a bunch of people together to put it together. I hope that a person or maybe multiple people get paid as a result of this. But also that I hope that any new work that CD Projekt Red does to make the newer console upgraded versions better, that they negotiated some sort of thing where it's like, and any work that we do for those, we can backport to your mod so that people making the mod on PC or whatever, wherever this mod is being used, can be using the benefit of the nicer textures that we've made in the console versions. That would be a very interesting thing to do.
That would be interesting. I feel like that's less likely.
Highly unlikely, yeah.
Yeah, not likely.
Because I don't know. Actually, I don't know whether mods on like PC are actually like an official thing. Probably they are actually, now that I think about it, because CD Projekt Red has actually been pretty open about modding stuff, especially on PC where it's a lot easier. Yeah, they could. Maybe they'll just if they've got this mod working on, like if they've got this new version for the consoles, then maybe they'll actually just also be either releasing a new version or an update or something for PC anyway.
That seems more likely than what would be considered a backport.
Yeah. I mean, especially if it's going to be complete as well, right? If they're like, we're putting this on console, so we've made sure that as much of the
also,
texture
given
is
how a lot
complete.
of video game companies work, I would suspect more highly that it would be a new version that you could buy at full price.
Because HD remaster, yes, all the. The other thing that makes me wonder too, though, is it's like any other sort of fan project. It's the thing that always like made me wonder about subbing anime, as an example. This kind of thing where a fan translation kind of takes over, gets into the consciousness, things are made a certain way, and then an official translation comes out and people react poorly to it. And it always made me wonder. It's like, why not just go to the people who fan subbed it in the first place and pay them for their scripts? And I think there have been cases of that, very few cases of that happening, but there have been cases where it's like, you've already translated this. We'd like to use the translations. We will probably have to clean up some more stuff in it so it passes muster. But
you would still have to get, because in the cases of what you're talking about, those scripts would have to get taken and then they would have to be approved of by the Japanese companies as well. And it's also possible that if someone brought up that idea that somebody else is saying, no, we're not doing that. Like, there's so many people to say no. Yeah.
And I mean, you know, if you get approached by Crunchyroll to be like, hey, we saw that you've been fan subbing this for like the last year and we've just acquired it and we're going to actually do the thing. The idea of basically the scanlator or whomever could just be like, no, I ain't selling you my scripts.
I mean, there's that too. That's also a possibility.
Do it yourself.
Yeah. I mean, it's, who knows? There's, and I think there can be sort of unexpected or unknown sort of legal ramifications of some of this stuff, you know, that have to be a little bit careful about incorporating fan-based things.
Yeah.
Because
like Crunchyroll refuses to talk about its past history about how they used to be a fan subgroup.
Yeah. Or rather, they used to steal a whole bunch of shit from other fan subgroups. Or that they used to
steal things from other fan subgroups.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They will not recognize that part of their history because they legally probably can't.
Part of our heritage we ignore.
But I mean, that is the thing, right? Like if you talk, it's like, oh, we love your fan sub. You know, let's buy it off you and incorporate it, and then you know you release it, and somebody else is like, that guy you bought it off of actually stole it from me.
Yep.
Oh my goodness!
There's
that is a possibility.
Yeah.
You know, the legal there are sort of liability ramifications that can be a little bit tricky, but anyway.
Yeah, it's also probably not that expensive for them to do it in-house.
It's true.
If they've already got the setup for certain things.
And you're already paying people to be translators for you anyway, so you might as well just keep giving them more work to do.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But yeah, so that's cool. Witcher 3 getting HD upgrades thanks to fans.
Yeah. I mean, this kind of stuff can be tricky in terms of, you know, exploitative of sort of fan-based projects, but hopefully the person will be compensated for it, or all the people involved in it will be compensated appropriately. I don't know. I don't think any details have been released about this particular. Like it's one of those things where it's like aspects of it might be incorporated in the thing. They are in talks, so we'll see. I guess. All right, and that's the extent of the news that I marked for this week. I think that was all the different stuff.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything new.
Nothing else happened.
Nothing else happened. That if we haven't heard of it, clearly nothing has happened, right? Yes.
We make the news. If we didn't talk about it, it isn't news. That's how it works.
I mean, I could make up some news, but I don't really want to make up video game news, though. I'd like to make up stuff that people won't like take as real.
As we've so Maricat's saying in here, the fly swatter for Reviage was a mod.
Oh, right, there was that.
I am also going to call it Reviage, I think, from now on. Resident Evil 8 was good, but I like Reviage now.
It's also because it's if you look at where they put the periods, it is like more like Resident Evil 7-1 age. Or I age.
There's two periods, right? It's like 6.1.1age.
Well, because there's not a period after the first time.
There's
a period after the second one where that was the L and then the other one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was that after chat thing you guys had, and Graham had brought that up. I've seen it in a couple of comments where people have mentioned it was a mod, and Graham has said that if we had done an actual proper story on it, that is a thing he would have done fact checking on, but it wasn't. So that was just, you can't expect after chat on those episodes to have fact checking necessarily.
And frankly, you can't expect the stories themselves to be that fact checkable either. So
It's
That's the nice thing about being a comedy news show, right?
wishful thinking on the part of on Graham's part, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Coming up, we've got the Friday Night Paper Fight where Kathleen and Wheeler and Serge and Adam are going to be playing Gladiator
Nice.
on Magic Arena.
Yes.
And then on Saturday, Beige is back to Betrayal at Krondor.
Yep.
Are you getting close to Krondor yet?
Christ, no. We actually, as far away as I can possibly get. We're in Kenting Rush at the moment. I actually just got to, North Warden might be the furthest away I could have gotten, but
Betrayal at
but
North
yeah.
Warden just doesn't.
I'm in
as good.
Kenting Rush, and there's lots to do in Kenting Rush, and that's the terrifying part. What's fun though is that we triggered an event near North Warden where a minstrel comes up to us, and we have like a dude dressed up in an outfit. We meet him, I think, later, but it's this dude dressed up. We get like a full picture of him, all digitized sprites and whatnot, and he sings a song, and the song has lyrics.
Ooh.
Sung lyrics, because and you can hear, if you go on to listen to the soundtrack on YouTube, you'll hear it. It's called North Warden Pigs, and it's so it was like, oh, they actually did use that track in the game. This event only triggers in Chapter 1. It does not trigger at any other time in the game. And there have been multiple other moments through doing the traveling that we're doing where it's been very clear that even though the developers knew that, yes, you're probably just going to go straight south right to Krondor because that's what you're supposed to do, they were like, what if somebody wants to go the long way around? Well, let's program some stuff in so that as they're doing it, we give them story reasons for why they're doing this as opposed to going straight south. And that was one of them.
And if you want more content like what you just saw, you should definitely check out the Play It Forward.
And you should check it out on Twitch in case I decide to do things during commercials.
Yeah.
Those get cut out for you too.
They do.
And then on Sunday, Heather and Beige are playing Friday night.
Heather and Ian.
Wait, Heather and Ian
Yeah.
are playing Friday Night Funkin'.
I would have been surprised if you were doing that.
Make sure you pronounce that N. That is an important N. Funkin'.
Funkin'.
Funkin' Junkin'.
Yeah, it's
I've been waiting for this to show up. I didn't think you guys were ever going to play it.
Oh, you've been waiting for this? Seriously?
Well, just that I haven't seen it show up, and I'm like, Friday Night Funkin' has been like memed for the past like month or so at this point.
Because it's got mods on it and stuff.
Yeah.
I think
Somebody
I
modded
played
the
part of it.
scriptless finger or whatever.
Yeah,
Enjoy
we did a cover story on that. That's been on our list for weeks.
Yeah.
I've actually played part of it to see what it was like, and Ian's the one who wants to play it, so he gets to play it.
Is there still a Rhythm Cafe suggestion form?
Yeah. I don't remember the command that brings it up, but I'm sure one of the mods does.
And then Wheeler is playing Hearthstone on Is This Your Card? I think this is episode 3 of Hearthstone. And then on Monday, it's the Can't Draw Horses Club. Corey and friend. And
I'm on this one.
Corey
and I think
and Heather.
Molly is too.
Oh, nice.
I think it's
Ooh,
been Molly. Yeah, I think there's 3 of us.
Double friend. Nice. That'll be fun. Can't draw horses.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing we can't do. We've tried. It's just impossible.
And then Dice Friends is currently TBD, I guess.
I think they're still trying to sort that out. It's been a complicated...
I think I know what it is, but I'm not sure whether I'm supposed to announce it yet. So I
don't think we are yet. I think that's still being sorted.
There will be a game on Monday, is what I can tell you. And then on Tuesday, it is back to 9 o'clock, Talking Sim, and Let's Nope, where they'll be playing some kind of Resident Evil. Probably, I think they're still on Resident Evil 6.
So this is the thing. After episode 3 of them, after 3 episodes, I thought they were done because I know they hit like a credit sequence, and so my brain was just like, well, credits in a video game. That means the game is over. And I should have known better than that because it was still going last week.
And more Betrayal at Krondor. on Tuesday. That's
Maybe one day Beach
Sat-
will make it to Krondor.
Saturday,
See.
Tuesday, and Thursday are the 3 days that Beach is.
It's weird. It's weird, right? Like we made fun of James for all those times he couldn't escape Tarkov, and
Yeah.
now I'm gonna just make fun of Beach for never making it to Krondor.
I'm realizing now that it might be possible that my entire piff might just be me trying to get to Krondor, and then when I do, that's the end of chapter 1.
Don't you
And it'd
see?
be like, all right, so we'll
the
come.
betrayal
we'll
was inside us all along.
Yeah, we're gonna stop doing this, and we're gonna go on to a different piff with somebody
Oh.
else, and you'll see me actually play the next chapter.
It's like a
In the
meta.
future
It's like a
piff.
meta betrayal. You're
Right?
You're
Yeah.
betraying the people watching Betrayal at Krondor.
Yeah.
All right, let's thank some of the awesome people who subscribed during this stream. You know what? Let's thank all of the awesome people who subscribed during the stream, not just some
yeah,
of them.
I agree. Like Beowulf.
93 months. That is the absolute maximum, and it gets longer every month.
Yay! By exactly 1 month per month.
Yeah, that's how we travel
Got
through
that
time.
2-year for Farniel. Little
Yeah.
birthday cake. That's cool.
Throw a bear kitten with that nice amount of months.
Nice.
9, yeah.
We're still doing that.
Banana guns.
Yeah.
Banana guns.
Get them
That's a
banana
gift.
guns.
Banana guns. With a Z.
Yeah. Build-a-lure.
Or is it Z?
That's
We've
Which one
talked
did we
about.
say? Who says what now? I get really confused over that letter now.
what, Zed?
Is it Z or Z now?
It's Zed. It's always been Zed.
It's always been Z?
Yeah.
And thank you, Farabender.
I have to
for the
thank you,
300
Prince
bits.
Zed.
And Gap Filler.
Getting in for that poppin' at the end.
Filling
That's
filling
good.
that gap.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. And we'll be back in about an hour and a half with Friday Night Paper Fight. But until then, talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.